小年轻。
可爱哦。
但是，别走。
2个萌新，你想累死我呀？
没让你一拖二啊，那不老严也在呢吗？你也别吃独食，你分他一个。
他都快成网红了，我可请不动。
还有你请不动的人，他不想跟你学跳台了。你看是不是这样啊？现在呢都已经2点了，外边雪呢基本上就踩的是稀巴烂。你收个萌新挣点钱。
是啊，你在干嘛？
咱俩干嘛呢？
在向冰雪之神祈祷。
哪有这个神啊？我跟你开玩笑的。
你要虔诚一点，让我们一起向冰雪之神祈祷，请你愿一生荤素搭配，快点下大雪，给我拍照片。
给珍珍下场大雪吧。
拿来吧，我是说书。
他是阿宅，
阿宅，
前世我的。
第3个卡子了呀！
你的教练来了。
你好，我是你教练。
这边啊！
你教练在来的路上，你跟我来。
宝，你这个教练看起来不一般呢。
很一般啊。
哪里一般啊？你没有看到他那个轮廓吗？他那个鼻子那么高呢。
没看到。
有眼不识泰山是吧？嗤之以鼻是吧？那我们就……
小哥哥怎么称呼？
教练。
啊。
就叫教练。
哦，教练好。
以前没滑过？
这都能看出来？
你这一身修身款滑雪服是滑双板的，单板还是宽松点好。就你们这身打扮，看一眼就知道是萌新。走了，换身衣服。
我们就是打扮怎么了？
你多高
？172。
不同身高体重用的板长度也不同。到了医院，你也和医生撒谎吗
169。
租单板还是双板？
单板149。
鞋码呢
？37码半或者38。
好。哎，钟晨，你今天怎么领了个萌新过来啊？
被老刘抓壮丁了。
也就他有这面子，能请得动你。那这样，我再给您拿个头盔血镜，还有一副318。
对的。再来个小乌龟。
好。
我有个问题。
说。
你真的是雪场教练？不是，我的意思是说，别人都有统一的服装，怎么就你没有啊？
因为我厉害。
妹儿，他可是在雪场签约。
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no hate this, I'll always show up. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, no I don't take shit, I got no love. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no hate this, I'll always show up. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do, I'm so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move, so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people that I love. Being negative, but you should be getting after it. Make yourself and I got facts over tracks. It's their ass, so speaking fast like a roast, like a gas. Think I'm okay in that, but I don't know what that's spread. I'll be great one day, going off from my meds. Let you know I'm giving up, serious. You giving it my time, make it serious. I'm serious because of what I gotta make. I'm serious, you know I'll always be patient. From my mind, and you know this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, they can say they back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all, never got anyone's help. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no hate this, I'll always show up. You wanna play tough and wanna hate this, no I don't take shit, I got no love. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no hate this, I'll always show up. You wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this.
啊